Welcome back to another video. I am here with my good friend Gigi.
Hi everyone. How are you guys doing? So my name is Gigi. I went to school with Fyro and yeah.
So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, what we are doing is we're starting a podcast type thing. So we're going to be like answering basic questions from each other, telling our life experiences from college, and how we're going into the real world now. Motivation and positivity is all about what we're here on this channel. So, Gigi, what do you want to start off with today?
Okay, so for now, let's start with our introduction. I say, like Fyro, let me. I've known you since 3 years of high school, and it was the
You've
best
known me
moment.
for 3 years of college, not high school.
Sorry, I'm in college. Oh my goodness. Okay,
We can't
so
do this.
basically, yeah, we can do this. Basically, me and her have like met in first year. However, we didn't start talking in first year until like our second year.
Oh,
But
we
overall,
talked a bit in first year.
yeah,
We had one class in first year.
yeah. Unfortunately, we did have one class, which was like I think it was like basically
It was
literature
writ.
class.
It was writ.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, so basically it was like an English class that we had to graduate, pass and go to on to another course, like whatever and so on. But we did and like I did saw her for the first time at RIT class, which it wasn't actually the course that we both graduated in, but it was like
I mean,
just
technically
an
the first
additional
time we
elective.
saw each other was during, I think it was the open house.
The
And
open house.
we were was it open house? Or it was like some kind of introduction where they put us in a big giant group for graphic design and they showed us around the school.
Oh yes, the open. Oh, I don't remember because I barely remember anything from the very start, honestly.
Honestly, I don't either. All I remember was you and me, we talked about Florida Georgia line and how that.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I was with you when we were getting our student ID.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember, I remember now. Yeah, it was like you were just right beside me and you were with me actually when I was getting my student ID, and
It
that's
was
how we
you, me, and our friend Scout.
Scout. Yeah, Scout was there too. Awesome. Yeah, so yeah, we met there, and ever since then we kind of parted for a little bit and then came back like
It was like
around our second year and
it was
so.
second year, but
So
like, I had a
yeah.
funny story to tell you guys from our first year in RIT class. Oh boy, I was not feeling the best. I put my head down on the table and Gigi was just like, Pyro, are you okay? And I'm just like, I think I'm gonna throw up. And next thing you know, I threw up. And she, bless her heart, her giant heart, she went and got me paper towels
Aw.
from the bathroom and helped me clean it up. And
Oh, I
bless
was
her
happy.
heart.
So I was happy to help. Don't worry. I would want someone else to do the same thing if that happened to me. So I had to like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go right away and get it now. And ever since then, that was like kind of like the start of like our friendship, like
Yeah.
basically, because then we met through we started having like a class together. Oh, by the way, everybody, so the class that we actually are taking is graphic design. So just in
We
case,
have
because we're just saying
graduated.
class over and over, so
We
it's
have
just like
graduated college, guys. We are
yes,
certified licensed graphic designers.
oh my goodness, such a scary world to get out there now. But yes, we actually just finished, which I'm so happy, so thrilled.
We
The
finished last.
long nights, me and her, oh my goodness, have like went through, and it was like, oh, thank God it's over. Now we're on our next path and next journey to start. So yes, we are there right now.
Different paths. Like I'm going back to school. You are going into the field.
Yeah, so tell us, you start with saying like what you're going for next year?
Mhm. Okay, so I next year after since I graduated college from graphic design, I'm going to further my knowledge in graphic design by going through for animation, which is what one of our professors actually did as well. And he has many experiences now.
Yeah, sounds great. Like I myself would want to continue that path. However, like I just need to find a job now.
Yeah.
I wanted to just like yeah, I would love to go for another course, but
Yeah, you were
I
talking
really
about, like,
do need to save
interior
money,
design,
so
weren't you?
yeah, I was. I was thinking of going to back to school for interior designing. However, that changed path because, I kind of didn't want to be like stuck doing homework again without like especially throughout this pandemic. I just kind of want to
Yeah.
find a job. I mean, it's so nice if you actually I would love to have another knowledge and like on another course related to graphic design, because then that would like enable me to enhance my um background more on the field career that I want to choose. But since of the pandemic, it's kind of so hard. But it's very good for you, Rachel, that you are actually doing this. It's very good. Like most of my motives and motivations are very inspired by you. So
Well,
yes,
all right. So yeah, yeah, I'm going
alrighty.
back into animation. You're going into the actual field or getting like a job somewhere else to pay off student debt.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I just remember how much my student that would be. Same as you, Rachel. Oh my goodness.
$17,000.
Oh, such a headache. Oh my goodness, I can't even. But anyway,
Okay.
let's start off with the questions. That's
All right. Hit me. Hit
okay.
me.
Okay, Fyro. Let's see. Let's go start with off with our questions of topics that we want to cover today to inspire young and get students that are just getting started of college.
Especially with the
So,
pandemic.
in the first question, I would like to ask like how do you start college in a good note?
I would say have all your ducks in a row first. Like, know what exactly you're going into, have the correct materials that you need, as it, like, i.e., textbooks if you need any, pencils, pens, paper, because you'll be taking lots of notes. I will tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're going into graphic design, interactive design, take your notes. Those notes will help you with coding.
That's a very good advice. Yeah. So,
All right. So Gigi, my question to you is, what is
mhm.
your motivation to actually go to class?
Oh, that's a good one. I like that you asked me that. Okay, so my motivation honestly has to be like I have a fear of not getting things done in time. Though I am such a big procrastinator, but I'm also like the
You and
type
me
of
both.
person that are afraid of failure.
Yes.
So that's two things combined is like psh, it's crazy out there. But honestly, for me the one motivation that would get me up is just thinking, oh, like I'm willing to learn new things. That's why I go to school for the career that I choose and want to go for. It really motivates me to jump and get started. But obviously because of this pandemic, oh, such a hassle to get up, like you're going to class by you know this feeling about like, you know getting up there. Like I myself have trouble, especially during this pandemic. It's been so hard to get
There is
up.
no motivation to go to class,
Oh
especially when they say, yeah, class is recorded, so
yeah,
come
that's
if you want to. But if you go to class, you can actually work and ask questions to the teacher.
which is such a big like change in our society, and struggled a lot of students, because mostly when you are in person to person, it's so much more easier. and it helps you really get up there and go at it, because you're in class, you're learning in person, which is a lot different than now, because people are like, obviously, like how things are changed upon us is like, when during this pandemic everything is recorded, like you said, Pyro, how everything is so, like, there's more advantage in a way that we have more free time, and everything is more recorded. Like, that just honestly, that didn't help the fact that everything is recorded, because students tend to, like, I tend to, like, everybody tend to lays out more, especially knowing that like the lecture is recorded, and that's really pushes, like, the motive a bit to get up and get ready.
I
So
know. For what I did is like I would turn on class and then I would fall back asleep. Just as long as they
exactly.
saw that my name was in the participants, I was like, okay, I'm going back to bed.
Yeah, I agree with that. But there are times where I'm not gonna say favorite classes, but there are, of course, every student goes through a phase where they prefer a class or a teacher that they like more, or the class more, and they're willing to really get up, and
Or if you actually have a class that you have to go because they're doing
yeah,
stuff in that class that you have to
exactly.
hand in right after class, i.e., interactive design with Nicola.
Honestly, yes, I agree with that. But I do, one thing I do notice, like, with those, that motive too, such a hassle, because it's like you're so scared of one, a specific, like, subject that you want to get out there. Imagine, it's so much more better if it was in person, but like, even I was had especially when it came to our last semester, that's when everything kind of just like slowed down, but at the same time, at the same time, it's like, hurry, hurry, hurry at the very last minute.
Oh, I know. You and me both know. I think we were up for at least 51 hours straight.
I know, for 3 days in that final week, the 3 days where me and her had the biggest project, which was animation.
Two
I
big
think it was
projects. Two big projects.
three
We had our
projects. Yeah,
animation and our portfolio. Whew.
exactly. Oh, that was the hardest part, because then we all have to lay out like how well we want to put or brand ourselves, which
Yeah.
was the word. Like, I wouldn't say the words, but it was the struggle of like finding yourself at that very last minute. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it was a struggle. Definitely. Was definitely a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for procrastinators. Do not procrastinate, people. It's not good. It's not going to end well for you.
I mean, we all heard it, guys. Again, we all heard the fact that, oh, I'm not going to procrastinate. Trust me, you will. That's a thing when you are out there. When you're going to procrastinate in the very last minute, at least once in your, like, student life, or twice or more than that, Like, I myself procrastinated so much,
I
but
think we
I'm the type.
procrastinated on every single
Yeah,
project, to be honest.
exactly.
Like, there wasn't one project where you and me were up till at least 3 o'clock in the morning
Mhm.
finishing a project or handing something in.
I honestly think it depends really on the person too,
Yeah.
because there's other people that just like wants to get it done quick and fast. But
Oh, yeah,
I think
definitely.
me and Fyro, of course, our most creative outcome comes into like the last minute, and like, there are people that are just like get it done like the first time they get like the assignment assigned to them, they already got started. But as for me and her, like Fire right now, that's not our kind of genre. We're more creative in a way where everything is in a hurry, I'd say. Like, my best
My
um
best pieces of art I've always
yeah,
done is like midnight and onwards.
exactly,
And
that's
I'm
the same
exhausted.
for me. That's the same. I for some reason am never motivated during the day, but I would love to change that,
I would love to change
because
that.
obviously, yes, because
I only, yeah, at midnight, you just like, you should be sleeping. But for
yeah,
us, it's just like, no, we're being creative.
hmm it's. But I do want to change that habit. Honestly, there are times where, like, because it's not healthy. That's the number one thing I realize. But what I'm saying is like, it's not healthy that you are having to sleep throughout. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done it many times, but it did affect me in the worst way as well when it comes to health and priorities to get straightened out. My mental and physical forms of myself has decreased because of the fact that I didn't do them as early as I wish, you know. So again, guys, like what I'm trying to me and Fire are trying to say, like, it's not bad to, if
It's not
that is
bad
your
to
motive.
procrastinate if that's what gives you the best outcomes, but at the same time,
Yeah,
don't kill yourself over it. Please just do your work.
exactly. Yeah, that's she said it there, guys. So
Next question.
let's go on to the next question. I wanna ask you what, okay, so I want to ask more about, like, let's say more about our course and what it's exactly is like, the courses that we took for graphic design and what we did. And I want to talk about exactly what inspire you to um be in that course, you know, like what is why did you join graphic design. So basically I'm saying,
All right.
yeah.
So for me, I joined graphic design because I wanted to get my art out into the world, but
Hmm.
then as soon as we got into like the classes, it was
Hmm.
nothing like as what I expected. Because I co-opted at a print shop, and they
Hmm.
were always making up their own art and putting it on t-shirts or making stickers with it and then selling them. So I'm like, yes, that's what I want to do. I go
Hmm.
to school for graphic design. It's nothing like that at all. We never learned anything about print shops. Have you ever
Hmm.
noticed that? We didn't learn anything about print shop. It was always the production of it. But print shops are just as important as the production of it.
Yeah, we did learn a few stuff
We
with
learned a little bit. We
a little,
didn't learn
when
much.
it comes to developing how to print, you know, those kind of stuff. But it never was kind of like, oh, printer itself, you know,
They
never.
never went into detail about like how to go to a print shop, right?
We never really covered that topic because also it was during the pandemic as well. I remember like we they did try to
We did
our
have a
professors did.
project, like a group project for going to a print shop and asking questions and all that. But
Mhm.
then we had the pandemic and lockdown. The first lockdown hit here in Ontario, and that project was just completely kaput. We didn't learn anything else about print shops after that. We
Mhm.
never like. Did you have Max as well for that class?
Yeah, I did have Max, and
We
that's
we,
what.
we learned. Max gave us no homework after that. It was just all hand this in, you're done. We
Mhm.
didn't see hide or hair of him. No, there was no Zoom call. There was no video call whatsoever with Max. It was just hand this in, you're done.
So yeah, I do agree with you. Last time we didn't had, it was more of like developing the piece itself on how to lay it out for the print shop. That's what um we most likely learned upon on, like developing CMYK, RGB, how is this managed to be, if you're gonna bring those are the kind of stuff we just basically learned. Nothing too much of like printing, you know, process of printing, nothing basically that. So yeah,
Mhm.
you're true. Okay.
Um, I mean, Bill kind of helped us a lot,
Yeah, we learned the process of how to develop through like giving it to the print shop, and that was basically it.
but no,
Yeah.
graphic design is definitely not what I thought it would be. I definitely, after these 3 years, I do regret taking graphic design, but I don't regret meeting the people in graphic design.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Honestly, the you guys would always expect the least of that course of what you think, you know, until you get into that course, like until you actually like are working and you know you're studying. It's so much more, like there's so much more that happens than just like knowing like a few brief about it. Like
Mhm.
normally also as I myself, like when I started graphic design, I thought it was more based on drawing. I thought it was more
That's
of like
that's what I thought too.
typography. Yeah, making typography, or I thought it was just like um illustration. I didn't know anything about that goes beyond like, oh, web design or animation. I think honestly, in my opinion, how they should improve that better is um having that, like us having a choice of course to pick what graphic design. So example, because there's so many varieties a graphic design can go to, journalism, advertisement, or photography. I think they should have given us an option where we could have picked at least a course and like a path we wanted to explore our knowledge on of
Like,
graphic design.
especially with interactive design,
Mm-hmm.
coding that just it didn't seem necessary if
Mm-hmm.
for what a lot of us were doing. I think maybe one person was going to be
Mm-hmm.
like a web designer.
Mm-hmm. Like I like myself, like I like for me, I have no issue with coding in the last year. I actually enjoyed it in our last year because we
Because
didn't do
we didn't
coding a lot.
code. We didn't use
Yeah,
coding
exactly.
at
We
all.
we didn't do any coding, but we still did web designing. I think there should be a difference where it comes to web designing and coding because
There is a totally different, like a totally entire class for like web
web
design.
design. Yeah, exactly. So I think we could have, I honestly think that we should have had a choice to pick a course through that, like having, because for me, I love web designing. I always like enjoy web designing, as in like the first year I was really, I like doing the Photoshop, like how we brought it up in Photoshop first, and then bring it to DW, which is like a coding application.
Mhm.
And it was then I started
Same
to
here.
hate it because I was not I struggled with coding a lot. And
Oh, I know. You and me both did. We had a whole sleepover just to
to code,
code.
figure out how to code, and it was fun. I actually don't mind the process of it done, but in like during it, not knowing exactly what to put or how to put a div, or is this should be in the container, like all those kind of stuff is just,
Mhm.
I feel like we should have a separate educational for that, based on decorating a web design, so that's for
Yeah.
me.
So then that me to my question, Gigi, what was your favorite course? Your favorite
Mm.
class in this course?
Oh, my favorite class. Like I've said before, and it comes to I don't really, there's two classes I really really like and I really want to focus a lot on. Like I've said, I did struggle a lot with coding, but I also loved it a lot. It's like a hate and love relationship with coding, honestly, but I do want to get into that background of coding more. Um, but at the same time, it's more for web design. To be honest, I just want to web, because now our industry is changing. I want to get
You want
into
to make the you want to
design.
create the website but have somebody else like code it for you.
Code it exactly. Yeah, that's what exact. Or and I really like InDesign, which magazine layouts and stuff. Though a lot of people say it's not fun. I get it. Like it's not fun when
No,
you do everything
I had
individually.
fun making the magazine layouts
That's
as
fun. I love doing that, and that's another thing I really am passionate about is laying out content. I really like how to lay out content, and yeah, just do illustration as another, basically, to be honest. To be honest, when we like going on the field on what I really want to do, I'd say I really want to get into a magazine company that produce um photography and like magazines,
yeah,
exactly, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I want to get into that, and web designing, hopefully. And yeah, that's what I animation, no, bye. So, what about you, Rachel?
So yeah, obviously I liked the animation, so that's why I'm going into it. I'm furthering my knowledge in animation, so I like the motion graphics class. I like that a lot. I loved the digital masters class. So when we made our all those posters, the animal mashup that we did, I loved doing that. I love making posters
Mm-hmm.
or CD covers, like album covers. I love doing that. That was my favorite class, digital masters. But then I also
Yeah,
like photography too. I'm
that
not
was
the best photographer, but I'm trying to fix that and better myself in photography. But
yeah.
that's about it for me. I didn't really enjoy anything else because
I
again,
wish
it
we
wasn't
could have.
what I was thinking what I was going into.
Yeah, I wish we could have continued more on photography. We kind of just stopped in second year. Do you remember, like how we
Yes.
didn't continue it
Did,
over with animation?
second it was second semester first year, and then first semester second year, and then that was it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I wanted to learn more about photography, though they say like, oh, there's not much to learn about, like, oh, it's just the basics outcome. I wanted to get into like the production of making a piece and like laying it out. I wanted to do that. I wanted to get into Photoshop more with like taking photo bombs. You know what I mean? Like take a photo and you do something in Photoshop. I like that, but we didn't do much like that per se because
Actually,
we
I should
us in our like second year.
yeah.
Huh?
Actually, to be honest, our first year, second semester, I should not have taken that class because I've already taken photography at St. Clair College here in Chatham. So I
Oh
had already
wow.
taken the class, but they
Yeah.
didn't like take it out of my schedule. So I just completely took it again and I got 100 in it because I already took the class.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good that you have a more background and understanding on photography. Wish I had, but I only
I
got
already
like a
have like
few.
my photography diploma. So I'm a
Mhm.
photographer already, even though I didn't do so well in second year
Mhm.
because we went into like a lot more depth into it and I didn't those stuff I just didn't know how to do. That's where
Yeah.
I kind of plummeted, but like first year second semester, I got 100 in it because Andrew didn't teach us like anything.
Yeah, he was more like just showing the camera. I remember that teacher. So, yeah.
He fit
I enjoyed
yeah,
when we went to the I enjoyed when we went to the what was it? Covenant, the market
oh,
downtown. We took
Covent Garden
photos.
Market.
Yeah, I still have photos from there, surprisingly. I still took some photos. At that time though, I wish I had a better camera to take photos in, but
I had my own
it was
camera,
pretty.
so
Yeah, I had my own, but at the same time, I used the school a lot, which it was a great thing that we had access to the school. So, yeah.
then at the same time, I hate that the fact that the school taught us only how to use Nikon cameras when there's a lot of
Mhm.
us that have Canons, i.e., me.
Yeah,
I had a Canon, wasn't learned how to use it.
yeah.
That's
Because I
not
think because of the reason of like the industry was more targeted to Nikons,
no,
I think.
that's not really it. It's just because that's the ones that the school had, so that's the ones that they had to teach us,
Oh,
which is
um,
stupid because like if you really I can't remember his name at all, but our second year teacher, the really big guy, he had a
mhm.
Canon.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Like, I guess, yeah, because yeah, we didn't have much choice with what we had or what they had, which I think they should have, honestly, and they could have taught us more about like what to use.
My question, oh dear. I guess what is your least favorite then?
Of courses, my
Yeah.
least favorite. I love that you asked that. Honestly, my least favorite course that we did is mm,
Motion graphics.
yeah, motion graphics. And honestly, I really, to say the least, I my least favorite would probably be, yes, motion graphic and the other class that we did, where we did how you were saying the master class, where I didn't really
You
like the
didn't like the Eagle
photoshopping.
master class?
No, that would be my two least. It goes
You
like,
didn't like
it
any
goes
other class at all?
master class and animation for me. So
Oh,
yeah,
mine would have
which
been,
is funny because I was like,
yeah. That's
but
both
I
good
don't hate
class.
them. For me, it wasn't like photoshopping wasn't really like
Your
I'd say
forte.
I'm really good. I'm pretty decent at it. It's just not what I love to do, let's
Okay.
say, because it's like,
Yeah.
or it's like I'm actually really good at Photoshop in some ways where I have to. Also, the teaching, yes, the teaching method, it wasn't like what I was looking for when it comes to into those two courses. So I like per se the animation part. I actually enjoyed that a lot, but it was so hardcore for me that I didn't enjoy doing like motion graphic, but overall it wasn't like I don't hate it. You know, I was tolerated by it, but it wasn't my favorite course, if you know what I mean. But it was nice learning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good
It was
experience.
Yeah, it was a good experience, but it wasn't for me per se. I do enjoy it. I want to have more knowledge on it, maybe, but it wasn't really the career choice I want to go into. So
Well, I mean, you're gonna be
yeah,
using a lot of Photoshop in the field.
yeah, Photoshop I'm okay with, but
It was just the way that you
it's
got
just the
taught that kind of
course.
turned you off.
Yeah, I wanted to explore more on Photoshop based on drawing. You know, I wanted to do more drawing kind of illustration. You know, I like going to like graphic design. I thought we would do like big project of like you drawing and Photoshop, but it wasn't like that. It was more of like taking a photo, mocking it up like to another, and like tweaking it here and there to make some sort of animal like crossbreed, you know, like that one we did. And for me, I wanted to learn something about more like, oh, I wanted to do like some layer drawings, like how do I infiltrate this and make it more shiny. I wanted to, even though we learned that in the first year, I wanted to create more of like that type of momentum and that like strategy of work. You know what I mean? I like Photoshop, it's just wasn't what I was looking for in our last year of college. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I
Because I wish we explored more than just um but like you know like what we did like blending and stuff. Like I wanted to do more of like drawing kind of type, like what you would do in Procreate, you know. Which I think honestly Procreate such is such a very um good application that should have been taught. I wish they should have taught us like Procreate, because it's such a great application that I'm actually learning on my own as well and producing a lot of art. Yeah.
yeah.
So what about you? What is your least favorite course?
Interactive design. I
Of course.
hated it. I
Like
hate.
the opposite. That is so funny.
Yeah, we're totally opposites. Like you liked interactive design. I hate it. I like animation. You hated it.
Mm-mm.
No, yeah, I can't stand it. And then I also didn't like design applications with Walter. Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it was necessary what he taught
You
us.
mean with Gary or design? Do you mean design advance?
Design, yeah, design advanced. Digital applications, okay, that was fine. I liked Gary. With Walter,
Yeah.
though, I couldn't stand his mouth noises. He's just like, well, I'm like, no, 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 no. It was okay,
Uh,
so partly it was the teacher that taught it, but at the same time, we were making another portfolio. We've already made 3.
mhm.
Didn't
Yeah.
need to make another one.
Yeah, for me, I to be honest with you, I like the fact that we had to make three, because then we could like enhance more on what to put in our portfolio itself. But what I didn't like is like basically how we were taught. For me, I feel like I
And
would
the
say I
fact that
didn't.
it was so unorganized too with the brief. There was
Yes,
brief. There was no brief whatsoever. You had to
Yeah.
go back into the slideshows, which had
Mm-hmm.
barely any information on it because that's all he talked about during class. But then he had no videos for that class for us to rewatch. So it was just
Yeah.
I'm completely lost on what's
Mm,
going on. I
yeah. For me,
I couldn't stand it.
it was, for me, it was how it was taught to me. I didn't mind like the teaching part, but I did mind a lot with how it was unorganized, and how I had to keep searching for like exactly what was due,
Mhm.
what exactly did he expect us to put in,
Especially
and
with this last
like,
project.
yeah, and also the marking system
Mm.
of that one specific teacher. I didn't really agree on of the stuff that he marked on my project, because um
Yeah, he said that
like
he told you
he would
one
say
thing
another.
and then you would do it and then he would tell you a totally different thing and it's just like I
Exactly.
did what you told me to do.
Yeah, which I heard that plenty of our classmate and peers had that type of issue with that specific teacher,
I
but
know. I
um
know. Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing of how he teach or anything. I think it's just how he's teaching. It wasn't compatible for mine per se, but it wasn't the fact that he was teaching what lessons, or like that. I like his lessons. I like his advice and everything. He was a good teacher. In class when you're talking, but however, with the like unorganized schedule, unorganized brief, I think it was like all over the place, and it wasn't straight to the point exactly what he wanted. Though he says another, like I do like admire him for like his, like I admire him for the lack of how long the class lasts. I admire him for that. Like he had the class like he's a very talkative person. But at the same time, like for me it was a lot. The longest class we probably had was with that one Pacific teacher. So yeah.
On this note, Gigi,
Mhm.
how was your overall experience of graphic design?
Of graphic design. Oh, okay. Well, I enjoyed it. It's sad to say the time went by so fast and quick. I wish I spent more time in person with my peers and classmates and professors. But however, because of pandemic, it's such a kind of like a downfall of everybody else. But overall experience, when we were actually in school, it was really fun. I love what we learned, and it was so much fun. I get to meet you, Pyro. I got to meet you as one of my greatest friend now, and um yeah, so overall it was a really great experience that I had, and I wish it would have a bit more, I wish
I wish we
it.
had a fourth year.
Yes, for because I don't know why. I wish we did have a 4 year, but everything went cramming down in the last. So, but overall, it was awesome. What about you?
Yeah, I had a good experience and a bad experience. Like again, it wasn't what I expected, but at the same time, I learned a lot. I met great people. I had some good teachers
Mhm.
and like just the college experience itself was great even though halfway
It is.
through we had the pandemic.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like we actually went to Fanshawe College, which is in Ontario, and it was
London,
one of
Ontario.
the best
Yep.
colleges out there. I find like it was awesome,
It's not
and
it's not all business, but at the same time, it is all business. Like it's
uh,
fun and
there's
games,
a lot
but
of
at the
hands
same
on.
time, they really do pound that information into you. It's college. What do you
Yeah.
expect?
Yeah. And I think that's a lot to say to our professors, because yeah, like one of my favorite professors, it's kind of funny, but she used to be like the one teacher I'm so scared of like in the first year,
Nicola?
but I ended up, yes.
Yeah.
She was like, I was so scared of her first year, but she really did push you to do the very best
Mhm.
because of that. She was a great teacher. I want to just say that. And she is actually one of my favorite teachers. She's pretty high up there. She's my favorite teacher of all. Not I didn't grow close to her as much, but in terms of teaching, she was my favorite. So, um
I had three favorites. So I really liked having Gary as a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He helped
Gary
a
too.
lot.
Yeah.
I liked Jeff, even though he kind of was a dick to me first semester, second year, but second semester he redeemed himself. I also
Yeah.
redeemed myself in my grades with that. And then
Mhm.
finally, I really loved having Bill as a teacher.
Yeah. Honestly, I love all my teacher. They're all good and stuff, but I do have my favorite as like themselves too. They have their favorite students, you know. And for me, it would be Nicholas,
Yep.
Leanne, and Bill and Mike. Oh, and one of our what do you call that? I don't think he's teaching anymore, but he was one of the interactive teacher that we had. He was also one of my favorite because when I asked him for help, he was there too. So
Mike. It was Mike. His name was Mike.
Mike too. Mike, yeah, Mike. But there's two Mikes we had.
There was
One was
Mike. Yeah, Mike and
the
Mike. You liked Mike and Mike.
Mike and Mike. Those are my favorite teachers. But yeah.
All right,
So
so to wrap this up, thank you, Gigi, so much for being on this podcast with me.
thank you for having me. I'm so grateful that I'm here with you, Fyra. This is really fun experience. My first ever podcast with someone. So it was a great experience. Yeah, thank you for having me, Fyra.
Uh,
Fyro. I'm still
uh,
getting used to that your name, so
so we will be making
calling you
a
that.
lot more of these videos together. And when
Yes.
they will be posted as a premiere. So you get to watch them as well as me. It'll be all live. This video will be posted next month in May. It'll probably be the 15th or the 16th of May. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm on TikTok again. And like my Patreon, guys. And on that note, remember to always be your best self and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, guys.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye,
Bye.
honey.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye, Pyro.
Bye bye.